Hello everyone, this is Donna from Even the Scales, and I'm on my channel right now to protect myself from the abuse that I'm going through here in Campbelltown, New South Wales, from the neighbours and other members of this community. These people have taken part in a plan to try and abuse me to death, both in my home and when I leave the house. These are members of the Campbelltown community who are taking bribes to put me through cruel psychological abuse. And when it comes to the neighbours that are joined to my home, they're actually putting me through physical abuse as well, because they're attacking the air that I'm trying to breathe in my home. So it's just a quick video because I just want to talk about a few things that just happened. I also need help urgently because these people are viewing into my bathroom. When I go to the bathroom, I have to hold up a curtain so that I can use the toilet. And I've only just realised that these people are viewing into my bathroom. So this landlord is going to be held accountable for the humiliation and the degrading abuse that he has put me through. And so are these neighbours and anyone else involved. So that's what I'm having to do when I go to the bathroom. I've had to totally adapt myself to living in my home because of the abuse that I'm being put through from this landlord. Yesterday, a housing rep visited the building, and there was supposed to be a tradesman that was supposed to come with her at the same time to look at the problem with the range hoods. And I mean, they know very well there's no problem with the range hoods. They know very well that the landlord, St George Community Housing, has rigged the range hoods, that they've actually paid a tradesman to get into the roof and modify the range hoods so that everything these neighbours put through them gets diverted into my unit instead of going out through the roof. So they stalled that yesterday. What they did, they made up an excuse as to why they couldn't fix the problem or look at the problem. And that's because they're trying to drag out the abuse for as long as they possibly can. And they even tried to turn it around onto me and make out like I had made a mistake about when the appointment was. Tried to confuse me. And I know very well that the appointment was for 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So they did that. And the housing rep, she did that. She was involved in all of that. She created a whole illusion like she has for the past 11 months since I've been asking her to fix these range hoods so that I can stop having to worry about my air being tampered with by these neighbours. These neighbours are desperate and dangerous right now, and they have gas stoves underneath their range hoods. The woman downstairs has been just arrogant enough in the past to think it's okay that she can send gas through her range hood into my home. So there's no telling what these people are going to do. I just walked in my door then, and because these neighbours, they're viewing into my home illegally, they're watching my devices illegally, they track my vehicle. I have this implant that's been implanted in my body that shows them all of my vital signs. It also allows them to track me wherever I go. These people are the absolute bottom of the barrel members of this community that are still involved in this, because they're the only ones that would be low enough to be a part of something like this. These people are cruel, and you know, there's no limit to what these people will do to put me through abuse. So they just knew that I was on my way home then. So they set up things for around my home. When they know I'm on my way home, they set up things. When they know I'm on my way out the door, they set up things around the building. So just then, when I come home, the creep downstairs that lives diagonally to me, he often puts himself outside so that I have to walk past him. Now, I know he's allowed outside. I know that. But the thing is, I also know he's viewing into my home illegally and stalking me aggressively to try and take my life because he's been paid to do that. So he is watching my every move. He knew I was on my way home, so he put himself out the front deliberately, and he got one of his family members to come and help him carry out psychological abuse. And he did that because this person is a vile pervert who is being used because he's like one of the most disgusting examples of a man that you could possibly think of. He's a known pervert, he's a predator, and they've actually used him because he either looks like a predator from my past or because he is that person. They've gone and they've found him, and they try to put me through traumas that I've been through in the past. So that's why they've moved me into this building next door to this person. Anyway, he's watching my every move, and he's set himself up out the front, and he's done that deliberately so that I'd have to walk past him. And, you know, it's very difficult to walk past someone who's putting you through that kind of abuse and know that you have that kind of disgusting person viewing into, you know, he's viewing into my bathroom, my bedroom. He's done this for months and months and months. And I'll probably never, ever get over the trauma caused from this, you know. And here's this housing rep out here yesterday trying to act like there's nothing wrong. She was just trying to dance around the subject of, you know, how serious this issue is. She played totally dumb in the whole, you know, in the conversations that I had with her, and she just tried to avoid what's actually happening here, which is all these people try and do. These people are living in an illusion, and they try to create an illusion every day. These people live fake lives. Their whole lives are fake, and they're all their lives are, everything that they do in their life revolves around my movements and what I'm doing. Everything. It's pathetic. And then they try and make me feel bad about myself. That's what they try and do. They try and affect my self-esteem. But the thing is, they actually make me more proud to be me, and they make me so glad that I'm nothing like them. Because if I had to stoop that low to hurt another person for money, or to try and kill another person for money, that's when I wouldn't want to be here. But no, you actually make me feel so proud to be me, and I'm so glad that I'm me. And it was the same when I went downtown just then. There were stalkers that come from every direction. They try and get ideas from watching me in my house for the past couple of days. They watch everything I talk about, everything I do, and they take notes. And then when I go out, they find people that are low life enough to stalk me. So, for example, one of the stalkers just then was a grandmother and a grandfather, and they had their grandchild with them, and they were using their grandchild to try and make me feel hopeless because my grandchildren and my children aren't in my life. And this is something that they do every time I go out. And I know they're stalkers. And, you know, she was trying to do the same thing. She had done that. She's probably been paid for it. But she had done that to try and make me feel hopeless, you know, because my kids and my grandchildren aren't in my life at Christmas time. And, you know, it hurts me. It really does. And they know that. They know that. They want to keep breaking my heart over and over. Anyway, I knew what she was doing, but it's the same thing, you know, even though I'm still brokenhearted over that. And I wish things could be different, but my children were involved in a plot to try and kill me. So that's why I can't go back to them. So, you know, that's a pretty good reason. I wish that it was different, but it's not. That's the truth. That's the raw truth of what it is. And that's, you know, what I've had to face. Anyway, this woman was doing that for that reason, and I just thought to myself, once again, you are exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. You are the reason why I am secure with who I am. I'm secure with who I am, and I'm so glad that I'm nothing like you. Because if I was like you, I would know that I don't really care about my grandchild. Because that woman and her husband just then, they were actually supporting pedophiles, rapists, and people that have caused serious harm to other people and children. So, for a start, she can't be very motherly. She mustn't be very nurturing if she hasn't got that trait. And also the fact that she's got to go and try and hurt another woman for that kind of thing emotionally. It also shows me that she doesn't have that motherly instinct at all. Because if she did have that motherly instinct, she would know that how it would feel to lose her children. She would know that would, how that would be heartbreaking. Obviously, she doesn't have that. Obviously, she's got narcissistic traits, and, I'm so glad that I'm nothing like her. And she is the reason, she's one of the reasons why the world is the way it is today. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, so that my grandchildren won't have to grow up and go through life like I've had to, with abusive men and women trying to control my life and dominate my life. My grandkids won't have to do that. Not only that, they'll be able to see my channel, and they'll be able to use that as guidance to know, at least they'll be able to, they'll have that wisdom to know about people like her. That's all I'm trying to say. Whereas her grandchildren, they probably won't. And this is why the world is the way it is today. Because these women like her are accepting these abusive men. They're saying that it's okay for them to be pedophiles. They're saying that it's okay for them to be rapists. So I'm so glad I'm nothing like any of you. And if you really take a good look at yourself, you would see that that's why you're doing what you're doing too. Because you're probably very insecure about yourself. So that just happened. It wasn't just her. I was stalked by many people. There's not as many stalkers now though, because maybe these people are probably thinking they're being watched. So they're just trying to carry out abuse in really subtle ways. But I was stalked on the road. The last few times when I've turned my corner to come up my street here to pull into my driveway, there has been somebody set up that's coming down the road in the opposite direction, and I'm hoping this person was being watched because I got half of his number plate, but I didn't get the last two digits. But anyway, they're setting up people to drive down the road when I'm coming up the street to try and run me off the road. That's happened, I think, the last 3 times, and it's happened throughout this year a few times. So what they do, there's kind of like a slight bend as you come up the road, and they make someone drive down that's just slightly on my side of the road. They're trying to run me off the road. And I've had people cause accidents for me in the past as a result of this abuse. So they're trying to do that. And that's what I mean. These people are desperate. This is what they're willing to do. That you don't know what these people are going to do next. They're so desperate. When I walked in the stairwell here, this woman in the unit right next door to me, she'd been out in the stairwell and she just filled it up with cigarette smoke, which is just like how desperate can you be? That's what you're resorted to, waiting for your neighbour to get home so they can fill the stairwell up with cigarette smoke. so I can talk about it on my channel. So that's what she did. And these people, they're just like, they're parasites. I've said that before because that's what they are. They'll just try any way to get into my energy to harm me, any way they possibly can. And that's the desperation. So if there's any detectives watching my channel, my life's in a lot of danger right now because of the 3 people that are joined to my unit. And, hopefully these people are being watched and, nothing's going unmissed anyway, but at least the information that I'm giving the detectives on my channel will also be helping to get these people arrested, because that's what needs to happen. There needs to be arrests made in this situation so that it's setting examples for anyone who wants to try and put me through abuse, because I don't deserve this abuse. I deserve respect, and I will get respect. I will, because I know that's what I deserve. And, most of all, I want this camera gone from my house. I want St. George Community Housing held accountable for what they've done here. And, that's priority to me right now, is to stop having to hold up a curtain when I go and use my own bathroom. And this landlord, there's not enough money in the world that you have, landlord, that's going to be able to compensate me for this. So I don't know what you're going to do, because that's just the tip of the iceberg of what this landlord's done. That's nothing compared to what he's done. So I need urgent help. Please, if there's anyone out there that can help me raise public awareness around what I'm going through here, please help me. My family members are involved in this. They've stolen my life. They've stolen my legacy from me, my inheritance. It was all planned. It was all premeditated. These people have tried to set me up for crimes, but I'm sure that the detectives are going to see the truth. I mean, all they've got to do is look at my life and look at these people's lives, and they're going to see the difference straight away. My life speaks for itself. My energy speaks for itself. The way I conduct my life. So that's why you can't make me feel bad about myself, because I know who I am and I know what I deserve. Unlike these women that are trying to affect my self-esteem. So thank you if you've listened to this, and if you can help me to raise public awareness of this, that's what I need right now. I need public awareness raised of this, because the Campbelltown police are involved, my family are involved, 3/4 of the Campbelltown community are involved in this, so there's no one to call for help, and I'm being constantly put through humiliation and cruelty in my home and when I leave the house by these parasites, these desperate parasites. So thank you for listening. My email will be in the description box of this video.